Hi, my name is Kira Rowland, National Makeup Artist for The Balm Cosmetics, and I'm going to show you how to get this super easy holiday look. So once I've prepped and moisturized my skin, I go right into my tinted moisturizer. So I'm going to be using our Balm Shelter Tinted Moisturizer and just lightly applying it with my fingertips. And for concealer, I like to use my Time Balm Concealer in medium, and I just kind of lightly apply it with my fingertips in places I want a little bit more coverage, but then I blend it out with my tapered blend-a-hand brush. I also like to do a little bit of cream contour, so I'm using my concealer in dark, and I'm just applying it in places where I want a little bit more shadow with the same brush. I like using a concealer to contour before powder because it just looks a little bit more real, a little more skin-like. You can really buff it in and just create a soft shadow for yourself. I also do a little bit around my chin and along the sides of my nose. And to set my makeup down, I just kind of use a little bit of my Sexy Mama translucent powder just in places where I don't want to shine so hard. And for bronzer, I'm just going to be taking my Bahama Mama bronzer and just kind of lightly whisking it over places I've already set that cream concealer down, just to kind of reinforce that color just a little bit more. I'm also wrapping the bronzer around my temples and my hairline, also under my chin. And let's not forget our ears. I also like to pinch my powder brush and contour my nose when I'm in a hurry because sometimes I leave the house and only realize I have one brush. And let's move on to cheek color. So I'm going to be using our How About Them Apples palette and mixing crisp and caramel together just because I want a nice and earthy shade because I'm doing a bold lip, so I don't want anything too strong. So I'm just kind of whisking it lightly into my cheeks and blending it into my bronzer. Remember, a little bit goes a long way. And onto eyes. So I'm taking my Pit a Little Knit primer and just lightly applying a thin layer with my fingertip onto my lid space. To create this soft smoky eye, I'm going to be using my Balm's Eye palette, and the first shade I'm going to be using is Tubular. And I'm applying that all over my lid space with the flat end of my Give Crease a Chance brush. So I'm just lightly tapping and then using the tapered side just to kind of softly blend things out for myself. I'm also going to be using a shade called Score just to give myself a really nice gradient. I love this blender color. And then I'm going to be taking a brown called Woody and just lightly defining the outer corners of this look. I want this look to be nice and soft, so I'm not putting too much product on. So I'm just kind of lightly tapping into my outer corner. I'm also taking a little bit of that Score shade and rimming my lower lash line just so it's not bare. And for my liner, I'm going to be using the black shade called Righteous from the palette and just using the shadow dry and just pulling it out with my angled brush, almost like wing liner, but it's just a little bit softer. All right, and it's time for some mascara. So I'm going to be using our What's Your Type of Bodybuilder mascara and just applying a few quick coats. And it's time for some brows. So I like to use my Brow Pow in light brown. So I'm just kind of taking my angled brush and just filling in where I'm a little bit more sparse. All right, and it's time for some lashes. So I'm just using some drugstore lashes, but you can use whatever lash style you like. I just wanted a little bit more sass. All right, and so for my lips, I'm going back to Apples, and I'm going to be using a shade called Cobbler. And to kick it up just a little bit more, I'm going to be finishing off with a little coat of Read My Lips in Ba Ba Boom. I'm almost done, but I can't live without my Mary Lou Manizer, so I'm just applying a tiny bit of product just in places where I want a little bit of glow, meaning the high points of my cheekbones, down the bridge of my nose, but less is definitely more with this product, so go in slow, guys. All right, and my look is done. So I hope this was helpful for you at home. Once again, my name is Kira Rowland, and here goes my hair flip.